Welcome, everyone. Tonight's our big night for our yearly financial report and our up-to-date, or up-to-down report for this year. So I'll let Michelle take over if you'd like to go over highlights and if people have questions or remarks.
Okay. So we'll start with the year ending May 31st. The auditors just completed their field work on Thursday. They were scheduled for 3 days. They decided to pack up and go home after a day and a half. They had minor stuff to do in the office, but they always do. They're hoping to have a draft by the end of August, early September, and then they're aiming to present to you on September 25th. I won't be at that meeting, but I'll make sure to read all of that's why they're gonna get me the draft so early, so that I have plenty of time to read through it, make any changes, and then the presentation will just be them going over highlights, and it's quite boring, as you know, to be honest. But at least I'll check over the numbers. They couldn't find anything wrong, which is a good thing. They'll probably make a report with one suggestion. We've made minor suggestions in the past, double signing the bank recs, going over all the assets that we have, disposing of them properly, basic stuff that they have to put something in the letter. But they didn't know what they were going to put in that letter when they left, so that's a good sign. So the statements here have most of the auditor's corrections. If they had a few, they might make a few more, so these numbers are preliminary, but they're pretty solid. So the biggest thing is fund balance. I think when we did the budget, we knew fund balance was going to be probably about $170,000, and that was on the conservative side, because we were going to spend some money. We didn't end up buying the car before the year end. We couldn't buy the recycling pail down at the foot of Main Street. Some people that we hired didn't take insurance, so that was some savings that I wasn't anticipating from attorney bills, sidewalks, that we all came in short. So I think our fund balance is going to be more like 220. Still a rough estimate. And then the firehouse roof, that was coming out of fund balance, so it just goes right back in, and it's coming out this year. So net fund balance after the new money that's going in and then what's reserved, we're probably looking at 690 to 700.
Which is an increase from previous year.
Yeah, ending May 31st, we were at 571. We're gonna add 220, 230, back out 100 for the roof, we're at 700. But again, that's preliminary, we'll have the exact number when the auditors are done. For water fund balance, we had allocated a lot for dam engineering, which came in under. So we did have to use some of the fund balance to cover the dam engineering that was done. But at least we only used 83,000 of fund balance instead of 235, so that's good. And then sewer, because we were down a bond payment, the revenue exceeded the expenses, and we had a fund balance of about 78. That was also attributed to engineering costs was less, electricity from the plant, it still keeps going down, which is great. And then there were some personal service savings and equipment repair. So overall, we did pretty good last year. But although these numbers sound like big fund balance numbers, they're all relative to the budget. So when you're looking at for general fund, 230,000 on, 1 point. Let me get the exact budget. It was a 2.1 budget, so it's only 10%.
Right.
So anything from 10, 15, even up to 20 is healthy and normal and expected. So 10% is right on track. It's right in the middle. And the same thing with the sewer fund. The sewer fund is almost 500,000, so 78, it's still,
Yeah, it's great.
18%.
Yeah.
And sewer fund, we're gonna, we just raised rates, but it's going up a lot more this year. We had the savings last year, we're not gonna see that savings, because we're gonna have the new EFC payment. That was timing, EFC was supposed to be paid by May 31st, and it wasn't. So the 78,000 fund balance, some of it's just gonna go right back to EFC anyway. So it doesn't matter if the savings is in 1 year or the expense, it's all gonna get paid like it's supposed to.
But usually we had to dip into the fund balance for the 78, we never have a fund balance.
We've never had like such an overage in fund balance for sewer, and it's all because of that EFC bond payment. The bond payment's coming, so.
What is the bond payment?
It hasn't been decided yet. I'm filing the reports to figure it out, because we have to see what the Market Street pump station comes out to be. So we should know what the bond payments are within a couple months, because we're gonna do a short-term payment, and then in January go to the bond market for EFC. What else?
Do we
Those
know
are the
what
big ticket items.
Sorry, do we know what the electrical savings was from last year?
I had budgeted 23,000, and we ended up spending 16,500. I don't know what the year before final number was, but I think it was like 21, 22
The year before, we still had the old roller.
for part of the year.
For part of the year.
Mhm.
So we estimated down for 17, 18, but we weren't sure because we didn't have a full.
Full-
year's
right.
worth of-
And that's also something that could be seasonal,
And Greg says it is.
Yes.
Electricity use is different in the summertime.
And I think overall, electric was a little low for a few months of 17, 18 across all the accounts, like the charge per kilowatt. Otherwise, like I have some, like on the notes, some accounts that were over and under. I don't think it, unless you want me to go over it, I don't think it's really big.
Anyone need that?
No, it's right
Kind of
here.
Pretty clear.
Just to quick point out, a lot of the accounts that were under budget, they're grants or reimbursement accounts. So if we don't have the expense, we don't have the revenue. So it's a one-to-one, it's net zero. There's no impact.
Right.
On the attorney contractual,
Yeah.
have we gotten all of the?
All of the
by the
bills through
end?
May, yes,
So
I
we-
made John
Okay, so
send
that's
them to
included,
us.
everything's up to date on that, okay. Because I know he has a habit of lagging.
In the batch, there's probably about 8 CMMR bills.
Right.
Yeah, but some of those are for
Some of those very
2016
old,
and
yeah.
2017.
I tried to clean up everything.
Right.
As I'm going along and asking people for things, if I recall something being outstanding, I'm trying to clean it up before I go, so that it's not hanging out there. So that's it for 17, 18.
Just everyone on the snow removal was, we were over budget by 6,375, is that right? It seemed like we budgeted higher because of the year before because we had to bring in a contractor, plus we thought we
So there's
should've
snow
brought it up.
removal personal services and snow removal contractual.
It's 2 lines.
So
Right.
personal services was over by 6,000, but we didn't bring in a contractor, so we were under 8,000. So net cost for snow removal was still under budget by $2,000.
But didn't we anticipate higher on the?
On the highway
personnel?
guys?
Yeah,
We went up a little bit, yes.
and we still went over that, that's what I'm saying. You see, we went over by 6,000.
They have to bring it. We were expecting to hire somebody.
Oh, that's included in the.
No, it's just a separate line.
I know, that's what I'm saying. The personnel is 6,375 over what the personnel that we had budgeted for that line.
Right.
So that's 637 over just for the personal, not for contractual.
Correct.
Right, so, but what last year, because we had so much snow removal, I thought that we added to that line but yet we still went over 6,000 on a year when we didn't have a lot of snow.
But the highway is still under overall. So the snow removal personal services doesn't just mean overtime. It could be if the highway guys cleared snow during their regular hours,
Mhm.
instead of being charged to street maintenance or to garbage, it gets charged to snow removal.
But wouldn't that be the same case the year before?
It would be.
Probably averages out the same.
I guess it would be. I'd have to see how much we really spent the year before.
Okay, I'm just asking, I didn't mean to, but it just seemed like.
With highway,
I thought we had anticipated a higher, or didn't have enough, even though we had, I know we brought in the 3,000 or whatever it was because of that huge storm we had, but.
For the highway department, the way I tend to look at it, because they have so many different responsibilities according to the budget, I look at them as a whole. So I look at street maintenance, snow removal, sidewalks, storm drainage, recycling, and garbage together, and sidewalk, I think it's sidewalk. So overall, as long as they're under budget, I think it's still an okay
Okay.
situation.
Just curious.
To go along with the fiscal year 17-18 is budget adjustments to clean up some of the accounts to make sure that nothing is over budget to finalize the audit.
So this is the resolution.
This is a resolution. I try to keep stuff within the same departments or categories as best possible. Benefits together, rec together, things like that.
So I make a motion to approve the resolution 202018.
I will second that. Any discussion? Roll call vote?
Oops, sorry. Trustee Early?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Miller?
Yes.
Trustee Bellotto is absent. Mayor Morandi?
Yes. Passed.
So then we'll move on to the current year. So through July 31st, we've collected about 95% of our taxes. It's consistent with prior year collections. The AUD was filed successfully. They'll have questions too eventually. We're moving forward on buying the 4x4 for the police. The bid results from the state will be in on Monday. And so long as they can meet the specs that Officer Burke wanted, we would go with the lowest responsible bidder. Bugsy's coming in to go over and finalize the truck request, and that will be submitted by Friday as well. So then that should be in within 2 weeks after Friday, because it's 5 days once the state agrees to the specs. We're gonna go with a pickup truck with a utility body, and that's it. And then there's miscellaneous filings I have to do, EFC for Greg's project, NYSERDA. We got the Sue Serino money for the camera grant, needs to be finalized. Need to finalize the pump station floor from FEMA for Hurricane Sandy. That closes out that project now. And then Sue Serino also gave us another $1,500 grant Larry applied for. It's almost finalized. We're gonna use that for the tough book for the new Police Explorer, or part of it. I also have to I requested reimbursement for 3 vests. I'm gonna follow up on that. We just were paying tonight for the AEDs that we got a grant for. The money already came in, so we're paying for the AEDs tonight. And hopefully TAB's grant will be approved this time around, but it has been submitted. So that's all the revenue stuff that's going on in the village. I don't think I missed any grants, or I don't think there's anything else in the pipeline. I get emails about all grants that when they become active, and I check them. If something I think we can apply for, I'll forward it to the department, but There was one tree one, other than this one that Jen applied for, it doesn't qualify for us. We don't have a designation. And other than that, a lot of stuff is for bigger towns and cities.
Yeah, speaking of trees, what do we have, what's left over from last year? I know I read it. One of your lines here, you know, that is what, man.
7,000 for all the
Sure,
tree counts.
last year. And then we have plus this year's account, so.
'Cause
Or
we
was
had-
that rolled over though, or did that go,
No.
that goes into the general?
The 7,000
Right.
from last year goes into the fund
Right,
balance.
okay,
Her lines were higher because we were anticipating the grant last year.
right,
So we didn't end up having to match funds. So
Right.
she did do,
oh, okay.
she
right.
did get in a lot of work that normally wouldn't have been in the tree budget.
Right, okay. And the truck we were talking about that, so we're not gonna use that for plowing, or?
Yes.
Oh, we are, okay, you just said that's it, or, so I didn't know what that meant.
It's gonna be a pickup with utility body and the plow kit.
Okay, thank you.
And a plow kit, sorry.
I thought we were gonna need one.
No. I don't know if it comes with the plow, but it definitely comes with the kit to mount the plow.
Right, yeah, right, okay, yeah.
But it wouldn't, because the utility body, we can't put a sander in it.
Right, okay.
Anything else?
I'm good. Anything from anyone else?
Michelle, thank you very much.
Thank you for an excellent job. I would just like to say once again, our auditors, when leaving, were extremely complimentary to your work and to the bookkeeping the village does. So it's, that's a big compliment, so thank you.
Thank you.
Never in doubt from me, but it's nice to hear from them.
All right.
Definitely is nice. And actually, I think they told Jeff that they had to put something in there because they're required to, but they really couldn't find anything. So, that's all good. So thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Michelle. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Michelle.
Okay, next,
Yeah, we haven't approved them. Do you want to just go to your desk next?
Do you need,
waiting for the conversation to go.
do you need them to approve? Like, can I take the photo?
Sure.
Thank you.
Just take it.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
There you go.
Okay, the next one's the approval of South Al and Sons activity for Mark Tree paving. We had to table this because Jeff had written, they had, the company King's Capital, who did the pump station work, had given us a bid, but it wasn't broken down properly, and the numbers we had weren't accurate, so it was only like a few $100s more than Padala. So I questioned that, because if it was only a few hundred more, it might have been better to go with using the pod project. Anyway, the numbers were, the final numbers, and we have an email from King's with the total on that, and their new bid was $22,000. Flood was $15,540, and Padala was $1,110. So I'll make a motion to accept the bid from South Padala Excavating for $14,110 to do the Market Street paving.
Second?
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the next couple are kind of linked together. One, we're gonna be hiring Bruce Campbell to do seasonal labor, and this is for the rec department, so there's a conflict there after talking to our attorney. Bruce has to step down from the Recreation Commission in order to take on this seasonal job. So Bruce has given us a letter of resignation. Email, so I'd make a motion to accept Bruce's letter of resignation from the Rec Commission.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now the next one, and I did, it's a late, I did put in the job description and the agreement that I'll have Bruce sign. I sat down with Bruce and Bugsy, because any use of the equipment for this job will be from the highway department, so he's going to have to have to work with Bugsy on that, and Bugsy's gonna have to give him approval, and when he can use the different equipment. Other than that, Bruce will pretty much be in charge of the maintenance of all of our recreation parks, mowing the lawns and weed whacking, maintenance on the pavilion at Mayor's Park, and odds and ends from hedge trimming to raking and whatever else is needed to maintain the parks. We discussed how much time we thought we needed. Bugsy did a pretty good job of keeping track of all the hourly, how long each park took to mow and to weed whack, so he kind of has the numbers. So we've set it at 24 hours a week. We do have more time budgeted if we need it, but this will have to, it'd have to be a request from Bruce, and that would have to go through Bugsy and then through us. So right now, the seasonal agreement, which has it down for 24 hours per week. It's $16 an hour. I set it at $16 an hour because I think we were, through our past discussions about our laborers and bringing their numbers up, we started them at 15. This is more of a he'll be supervising himself pretty much, and he'll be on his own. $16 isn't a lot of money. I believe he's definitely worth it. I don't think he can compare what he does to the other guys because they have supervision and every day, and they don't also have to set their time sheets, which Bruce will be responsible for also. So, discussion on this?
Yes. The second paragraph says that he will be responsible for maintenance of the restrooms at Mayor's Park, and then it says no, any of the bathrooms is not part.
So maintenance, and I guess I should clear that up because Fran had the same. Maintenance, I believe, would be if the sinks were broken, or if the toilet paper holder is ripped off the wall or something like that, or the doors are broken, or whatever. Right now, Tommy Hopper's cleaning the bathrooms, so that's why I put the note down there. Tommy's doing the bathrooms at Mayor's Park. The bottom, the bathrooms at the foot of Main Street Highway's taken on that responsibility, so that's not included. So if you'd like to have,
So he's not going to need to do maintenance of the Main Street restrooms?
not at all.
Okay.
So if you want to reword that or something, that's fine.
No, when I saw that, I thought it was a
Exactly.
conflict.
That's exactly what Fran thought. So do you think we should reword that?
Give it a try. Fran and I'll give it a try.
Okay. We'll get him to sign this, but that's okay. All right, yeah, that's good. Anything else? So I'll make a motion to hire Bruce. I believe he filled out all the required paperwork for the job. I know Jeff gave it to him, so on completion or on submittal of all the documents and signing of this document,
The amended version.
Amended version, I make the motion to hire Bruce for the seasonal laborer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
This ends October 26th.
And it ends October 26th, yes. And the dates are pretty much working with Bugsy on this for this year. So next year, it might start earlier because we missed the spring. But so if you guys can work on that. So there's, okay. Next is a refund request from Phillipstown Rec for Mayor's Park. This was a baseball clinic. It was $200 because of the weather or the forecast. They moved it up to Aldine Field. So I guess probably because of rain. I'm not sure exactly why. And also, I didn't know we charged them.
I didn't think so, but we should give it back.
Yes, yeah, we should definitely give it back, and we should,
Yeah.
I don't know why they were charged in the first place, if it's for Phillips, that right. But, so I'll make a motion to refund the $200 that they had paid.
Second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Next is approved prime paddle sport, use of dockside paddle for the cure. I'm imagining that would be you. We're early, so I'm glad you're here early. So, ask Matt to come. Matt?
Yes, sir.
Right. Ask Matt to come to just maybe explain this a little more. So we know because there's gonna be a number of people attending, there's gonna be cars going in and out. This was approved previously by New York, from the parks, right?
New York State Parks has led.
And you've done this in the past?
I have, I've coordinated the safety and logistics for the event.
Yeah, if you could just maybe stand up there, we can
Sure.
film it and just,
Sure.
you know, kind of give us a background, that'd be great. Thank you.
So, the Paddle for a Cure event, it is its 7th annual, and it is a fundraiser for Support Connection of Yorktown, organized by the Hudson River Water Trail Association. Prime Paddle Sports, my company, insures, provides logistics, coordinates rentals, and safety for the event. So as a local person who's active on the river, I help them out in that capacity. New York State Parks has given them permission to use dockside in years past. They've sometimes done one-way paddles from Beacon to Cold Spring, sometimes from Cold Spring down to Peekskill as well. This year it's going to start and end out of dockside with a loop around boundaries.
And how many times have you done it down at the park?
They've been in the park, I'd say, at least 4 out of 7 times, if not more, with approval from New York State Parks.
And there's approximately 100 people, is that participants or just family or
That's-
friends?
That's
and
an
everything?
estimate, it's a fluctuating number with a lot of last minute, 100 paddlers.
Or it's 100 paddles?
Yeah, so the plan would be in the morning, paddlers would drive into dockside, unload their kayaks, stage them in the field, park in the Metro North lot, do the paddle. When they come back, there's some refreshments, prizes, etc. Then they'll go retrieve their cars, pull back in the park, load up their kayak into the park. They provide, Hudson River Water Trail has toilets organized, so they're donated for the event, light refreshments, simple setup, very self-contained.
In the past, was it that much traffic? Sorry, spitting now. As far as cars going into the park, that's just one of my concerns, because we're just taking over and.
Absolutely, I know the cars can be a concern. Hudson River Water Trail extends from New York City to Albany. We have a fair amount of people who come up from the train, so they wouldn't bring cars.
But in the past, have we had a number of cars going in there like this year?
I would say that, yeah, there has been. It wouldn't be a surprise.
I just want to coordinate with the woman that lives down there. We have an easement through there, but
Right.
just so she's aware, she seems to be very willing to have people do things. So.
I'd say that there would be maybe, if we had solid participation, 60 to 70 cars pulling in the morning, drop off, turn around, leave,
I'm sorry, drop off and then what?
drop off their kayaks, and they would go and park, so the cars are in and out of dockside
Where do they park?
in the Metro North lot.
Okay.
Because under past agreements with New York State Parks, parking is not permitted in the park. So we're not gonna change that, we'll keep it simple, ready for us to fix it. So the cars are not there during the day. Then when the event wraps up, paddlers should be back by 1:30 or so. People tend to break out of there by about 3:30. They walk over to Metro North, get their car, pull into the park, put their boats on top of their car.
And do we have anyone directing traffic or anything? Is that needed?
It's light to self-explanatory, but there's tons of volunteers, so if we need to assign someone to it, we can do that.
If we could do something, that'd be great. If we just had somebody maybe stationed kind of, that we can keep it
Visible.
slow, keep it looking.
Sure.
But that would be
You
good.
said Hudson River Water Trail is gonna have porta potties down there?
It's going to have,
Gonna have bathrooms, porta potties?
yes, they have them donated from a company down in Peekskill. Right?
So
The-
how many will they be bringing in? How many
Two.
to dogs?
Right, I believe currently there's 2 in there, which I think is Cold Spring Film Societies, so they unlock per event. So we'll have 2 for the day.
What are the hours? When will the people start showing up and when do they leave?
Setup would be probably as of 7:30 in the morning. Safety meeting will be at 10 a.m. So you'll see most of your traffic will spike between 8:30 and 9:30 a.m. And then it finishes by 4:30 the park is empty, with departure starting around 3:30.
Yep. The material says there's live music.
I think they have someone come in and play a small amplifier. It's not a big band setup or anything like that.
Okay, that was.
Usually a friend of the organization who's a musician will come down and just provide some background music.
And I'm assuming the parks did not charge you a fee because this is a charity event?
In the past, they had not.
No, you're not the not-for-profit, the Hudson River Water Trail is that?
No, I'm Prime Paddle Sports, which is for-profit, but I donate my time and coordinate everything as a friend to them, past director at large, and being involved in the community.
And what does this go to again? Sorry, The profits from this?
Support
the
Connection of Yorktown,
Which
for
is-
breast cancer support, survivors of breast cancer.
And this is an organization in Yorktown?
It is in Yorktown, and that's because an existing relationship was in place, or that was the first charity chosen, probably when the event was down in Peekskill, closer to there.
Right.
So, and they remained the recipient of money's raised.
How many stand-up paddlers do you have?
Kayakers, stand-up paddlers, we welcome them all. There'll be a mix, probably heavier kayaks, so if it were 100, I'd probably call it a 70-30 split.
Stand-up?
Maybe
Because I would
30.
imagine a stand-up paddle would be difficult in the Hudson, particularly if there's any wind like that.
The safety stuff, I'm in control of that, and we would shut it down or limit it or shorten it. But yes, stand-up paddling with wind is more challenging than kayaking, certainly. A little higher profile.
Do we need this, since Brent Paddlers is not the not-for-profit, do we want this to read Hudson River Water Trail?
I can resubmit the application.
Just because if we're not going to, we don't charge a not-for-profit, and you are a for-profit organization.
Perfect, I'm happy to review that.
Okay, and the insurance was from,
It's Prime Pound Sports, that is mine. So everything, all the participants go under my insurance for the event. It's my donated
I
time
think
and
we leave
plan.
it as it
Leave
is.
it.
Leave it as is, right,
Yeah,
sounds better.
Leave it as it
Yep.
is.
Okay, and did you receive the copy of the additionally insured?
Oh, I do, I have it on the.
Would you like a copy? Do you have a copy?
Oh, if you have a copy, that'd be great, thank you. The only last thing was, you said there might be some beer.
Yeah, there might be some beer. They typically have, I think, Newburgh Brewing. I'm not in charge of the donations, but typically there's a keg for every
I didn't know
beer
if we
afterwards.
had did we have some type of thing
Yeah,
for alcohol?
Alcoholic beverages are prohibited on park grounds.
That was then, we had, when we did in the new contract, it said that we kind of.
Yes.
Would perhaps the old, I can pull a copy, I have the New York State Parks alcohol permit, if you want me to please
Yeah, I wasn't
produce
sure if we had
that.
to, yeah, I'm not sure if we, in the past, did we have to go to someone for?
Yes,
If we're serving,
but if
but
anyone who's serving.
he's serving,
Do you have a-
an SLA, liquor authority permit.
So, not Paddle Sports.
What did we have to do for for 4th of July then when we did that? Did we have to get something for ourselves, for the village?
Yes, always.
No, not for the 4th of July?
Yeah.
No,
Not for the 4th of July,
No,
not for the, we
Lions
don't
Club.
have to get it, we get it for senior picnic.
Right.
Appreciation, but anytime we're serving.
We're serving,
Nah.
but 4th of July, somebody else is selling it.
And so what do we have to do? So.
We don't
do anything.
Was
They
it a
do.
matter of
I
selling?
know, can you direct him to what we
Selling,
have to do?
serving period.
Serving.
Permit?
Serving.
Okay, selling and
So
serving.
does he have to go see or talk to?
It should be the liquor authority.
Yeah, the state liquor authority has, if you go to their website,
Okay.
you can get I think it's $36 or something like that. It's a one-time permit
Okay.
for beer and wine. And nonprofits qualify for that special permit.
Because they're specific to the date and the venue.
Yeah, understood. So in that case, I would have the not-for-profit make the application.
Yes,
including
that's a
that
good idea.
In their name, while the insurance and the event remains under Prime Pound Sports. That's acceptable.
So who's gonna be serving the alcohol? We're selling it.
Serve themselves. I mean, it's pretty much sitting at the end of the table and there's a
We'll be
small
down.
type. Yeah, it's pretty simple.
I think we should just leave this, but who's the other?
HRWA.
Yeah, have them take out the liquor, the liquor permit, but we'll leave this since
License.
it's your applying and it's your insurance, I'd rather have that.
Okay.
And then if we can just get whatever that small liquor license is, that'd be great.
Okay, and that's something where we can apply, we'll get that done this week and I can forward that over to
Great.
you via email?
Yeah, definitely. Okay, anything else from the board? All of that said, with the submittal of the liquor permit, I think make a motion to approve the application and to waive the fee.
Second. Fran's got that.
All in favor?
Aye. Fran and I are gonna work sometime next week and coming up with a permit form for Dockside. So we'll do that.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
all
Thank
very
you very
much. I
much.
appreciate it. I'll be in touch with you.
Okay, thank you. Have a good night. Sinking. How much did we have left over? What's in that fund balance? Is there enough for
I
a
keep-
chair?
For a new chair? I don't know.
I keep telling Kathy that the poor chips just get a permit from, a grant for new chairs.
No, we have to make sure she applies.
I don't know. I throw the dirt just to sit there.
With that conversation we just had, we did just receive the contract, signed contract with the state, so the village is now the official, has taken over dockside or responsible for dockside. That just happened last week. That took, what, 3 years?
At least.
Well, 3 years that I've been.
Well,
Okay, so it's moving along. We're doing good here. Keep going, Dave. Correspondence, we have a request for a payment plan for a water bill. There was a leak, I believe that they found, that the owner found with the help of their plumber, but it did result in a very high water bill of $759. The owner has asked if they can have a payment plan. You know, we've done this in the past. Thoughts?
I think we should approve it.
Yes, no problem.
And do we need to state how that is or work that out with?
Probably, I don't know how Jeff has done it in the past, whether it's so
Just
much a
leave that
month
to
or
them.
over a 6-month period, I don't know.
Okay.
So I think whatever's comfortable for them, as
Yeah.
long as it's paid within,
Yeah, I would say no more than 9 months, so maybe a third every 3 months.
Okay, should we just leave that, or however they did it last time? I don't know.
Okay, we'll leave it, so.
We'll approve it.
Right.
Let them figure out the finance.
Right.
So I'll make a motion to approve a payment plan for these
Mark
residents.
Saban.
That's it, Mark Saban.
Yep.
In the amount of $759.36.
second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next is the Clearwater short-term docking, which I have a problem with. I think because, I don't think, since we have other boats that we put down on the calendar that secure the dock for different events, I don't think we should, you know, Clearwater can just come and go as they please. I mean, that might interfere. It seems like they're asking for two things. One is to just be able to, if need be, swing by.
Yep.
So, I don't know, any other thoughts?
I know, I looked at the calendar briefly today, the Clearwater seems to be, I mean, so far, they have booked over 32 days.
You remember the last time we discussed this, it seemed like they lived here.
Yeah, and they have so far booked over 32 days, they've asked for 2 more. One of them was clear on the calendar, so it was just to pick up passengers, so I told them, okay, the other one was not clear on the calendar, I told them they have to wait for it. It was in September, and now they're asking for to sort of just come and go as they feel like it, and I'm not comfortable with that either. I understand they don't wanna go through the rec commission, and it seems like they don't know when they wanna stop here, it's just, you know, if they feel like stopping here.
Right.
But I'm not sure that's what our
What-
dock is for.
The way I read it, it sounded as if it was almost a safety kind of a thing, where they are looking for crew changes when they're going longer distances. So they're looking to use Cold Spring to drop off a crew and pick up a crew. In the bottom of the letter, they said they expect that this would occur 3 to 5 times a year. They would immediately vacate if any boat came in that had already received permission to dock. So it seemed to me, since we've already bent over backward to give them almost everything they wanted, giving them 3 to 5 more stops.
But they're saying that, but the paragraph before in their proposed, wording is that we'd give them standing permission, which means pretty much carte blanche whenever they feel like stopping by. And I think we should know when they're gonna be there.
So go 2 paragraphs earlier,
Mhm.
and it said, can you come up with some language that would be acceptable?
I don't know how you make it acceptable when they don't know and they're just estimating, and just saying yes means they can
So we asked them to give us 24 hours notice or something like that.
I'm trying to fathom how they don't, I mean, they should have their schedule long enough in advance that they could give us a number of dates for this.
So we can ask, we can ask them for that.
Or because they're saying, you know, they have a handful of other docks they have standing offer to dock for short periods. I mean, they're on the river all the time, they should know when they're gonna need to stop here to get crew, because their crew wants to be here. And they should probably know it at the beginning of the season. So, I mean, I don't see
I
why
think they can
can't.
easily send us a
Yeah.
email requesting.
Like 24 hours in advance, or set it up for the full
Yeah, I mean,
year.
maybe we don't have to require them to do the Recreation Commission
Right, right.
form every time.
Right.
But at least one form or an email, beginning of the season, I think would be easier, and, you know, they seem to be sort of making this home.
Okay, so let me come up with some language. You're requesting that they outline at the beginning of the season when they want to take advantage of this.
Or I think even better, I think the problem is, like, they don't want to keep filling out forms, so I think that they should be filling out the form for their longer stays, but if in these situations, we should be able to give them like 24-hour notice, and we can give them the okay, they will, without filling it
I
out.
would go more than 24 hours. though.
What's that?
I would go more than 24 hours.
What they call it 24 hours before, yeah, okay, well, 48.
I don't.
All we have to do is check our calendar, make sure no one's there. And if it's only a few days, we can, you know, as long as it's not abused, we can agree on it.
Right. I'll come up with some language, I'll circulate it to everybody and see what you think.
Okay.
So maybe we're gonna table this.
Yes, so we'll table it. Okay, next one's the fun one.
Yes.
It's got that one. The next was, which we discussed last week, or whenever it was, 2 weeks ago.
Right.
We had a request from Church Street for Labor Day, along with Furnace Street, same time, both requesting for Labor Day weekend. We did ask Church Street if they would amenable to moving their date, and they did. Now Furnace Street, we also asked them, and Furnace Street has kind of dug in and said that's
No.
for whatever reason, that's the.
It seems to me that when we did talk about Church Street, Furnace Street had not submitted their request.
Right, we thought it was
Church Street
coming.
sort of knew about it.
Yeah.
Church Street wanted, I guess, Saturday, Furnace Street wants actually Labor Day. And I think if we ask Church Street to change, I can't see how we're gonna let Furnace Street go ahead with this. I mean, if we ask Church Street to change, I can't see how we're gonna say yes to Furnace Street. I mean, I feel bad for them, but, I mean, Church Street was nice enough to change their date because we asked them not to do it on that weekend.
Thoughts? Rest of the board?
My major concern about Labor Day was that, as we were looking at it before, both streets were requesting to be locked off on Labor Day, or on Labor Day weekend. If it's one street or the other, I think that's an easy compromise, but I agree with you, Fran, it's difficult now to accept their date when the folks on Church Street have agreed to accommodate the extra traffic by moving their day.
Pretty.
I don't care.
There we go.
I don't drive up
Okay.
Furnace Street, so I don't care.
Right. I just don't know what the reaction would be from the Church Street residents. Is that, you know, we're asking them to, so I just don't want it to seem like.
We're favoring one over another.
Right.
Did Church Street actually change theirs?
Yes,
Yeah.
they did.
Yeah,
We could contact Katrina and ask her thoughts. I mean,
I
I'm
have to
trying.
call her anyway.
Oh, no, I would not recommend. They graciously agreed to change, and I would just say to Furnace Street that Church Street, we faced the same problem. At Church Street, they graciously agreed to change. We don't want to block streets in the village on what we expect to be a very busy weekend. So please choose a different date.
That's better than I don't care.
Yeah.
I agree with
I
Maureen.
agree.
Yeah, I
Okay.
agree too.
So we will contact whoever their contact is and
Bill Sussman.
ask them if they can move it. If they can't move it, then we won't allow it. So I'll make a motion to deny the request from Furnace Street for a block party on
Labor Day.
Labor Day.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Let's see, authorize clerk to sign amendment to NYSERDA. Read it here.
Yes, NYSERDA developed a contract with the Village of Cold Spring in September of 2014, which described all of the activities that had to occur, materials that had to be delivered, the schedule and the payment schedule for the work that was going to be done by the Code Update Committee. Based upon changes in the Code Update Committee and the pace of work that we've been able to achieve, we've asked NYSERDA to come up with a changed schedule and changed payment plan, which they have agreed to do. So they have sent us the amendment, and they are asking that the village clerk, who's the identified person, to sign this letter saying that we agree. So I recommend that we authorize.
Throw it into a motion.
I make a motion to authorize the village clerk to sign Amendment 1 to NYSERDA Agreement 39523.
I'll second that. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Marie, for all your work on CUC. I think we always have approval of bills.
Okay. I move to approve batch number 4745 for the total amount of $52,971.25.
That was
71?
71, it says 51 in the,
Oh, I'm sorry, I just misread that. $52,951.25. Yes.
I will second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, approval of minutes, Board of Trustees, November 28th, 2017. Why is that one here now? Or-
Because, the young gentleman who used to do the minutes, he left, didn't finish everything. So Michael was nice enough to listen to the videos and develop
Good.
the minutes for us.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Michael. That must have been fun.
I can't begin to tell you.
Yeah, and I realize as I listen to them how soft I speak, so I don't know how you even hear half.
What?
I understand that.
I'll make a motion to approve. Have a second?
A second?
Discussion.
Discussion?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Go Marie, you're on.
Okay, this one's on page 2, the third bullet down. The name of the firm is Penflex, Penflex, as opposed to Pendaflex.
Just a second.
Yep.
have it
And
correct.
it's one word, 10 flex.
Yes, and as Dave points out, it is a correct,
First bullet point, third line, you have it right.
okay? That's it for me, Fran.
Okay, I'm on page 5, Michael. Two things, under the paragraph, authorize mayor to sign change order number 2 for Market Street Pump Station. The substantial completion date is April 27th, not April 22nd, April 27th. I know I did find that someplace. And the second correction, under approval of bills, the amount is 21,226.71, and I did ask Michelle to verify that tonight. because I had one thing, so it's 21,226.71.
So we'll make these changes and resend it to all.
I guess we
We
can
don't
approve,
need to-
we can approve as
it
adjusted.
As amended.
Or I'll just make the changes and then send it to
So
Jeff?
it's adjusted,
Yes,
yes.
approve as amended.
Approve as amended, so do you need a motion?
Yeah.
Okay, make a motion to approve the minutes for the monthly meeting of November 28th, 2017, as amended with 3 adjustments.
Ooh, that wasn't a monthly meeting, it was a workshop.
I'm sorry. It says monthly meeting is the way that,
Right, but monthly meeting is always the
right,
second.
so it really was a workshop.
So there's another, now
So there's
4
4 changes. So the title is workshop.
And I checked the time, it actually did occur at 6:30, so that is correct.
Because we had the audit. Okay, so the motion, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for the workshop meeting of November 28th, 2017, as amended, and there are 4 adjustments on it.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Dip into the past again. Workshop meeting, December 5th, 2017. Make a motion to accept.
I'll second.
Discussion?
Yes,
Oh, I missed these ones.
huh?
I missed this one, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I
just have-
tried.
I have to find my notes here. I think there were 5 items.
Oh, I'm sorry, I did find one.
Yes. The workshop meeting began at 7:30 PM, Michael?
Okay.
Okay. Update on CCA agreement, the spelling is Joule as
What?
opposed to Jewel.
Where is that?
Right under update on CCA agreement, the second paragraph,
Can you give me a page, please?
page 1.
Oh,
Right
Instead of
under-
Jules.
Right under the intro.
oh, yeah.
Who attended, okay. Next, on page 2, at the bottom of the page, authorized mayor, this is in bold, authorized mayor to sign a letter to USDA, read chestnut,
Not.
Got it.
missing a T on chestnut at the end. Page 3, on the paragraph which is titled Approved Continuation of Building Department Stipend.
Uh-huh.
I recommend that the first sentence say, the board has been very satisfied with Mr. Vidakovich's.
Hmm?
And then the second sentence, Mayor Morandi made a motion to continue Mr. Vidakovich's services.
Okay.
And then on page 4, under board business, second paragraph, I believe that this should say, the board praised the Village of Cold Spring Recreation Department as opposed to the Phillipstown Recreation Department. That was for the Santa Parade. That's it.
Is, on the, is this? What is that?
Oh, good eye.
I must look at it
Where
What'd
is
you
it?
find, Dave?
I
On
guess it's
page 3, heading is discussion on reduction in water and sewer amount. There shouldn't not be a P. The P is very silent in the word amount.
Fran, you got something?
No, I don't, I didn't get any of this. I fizzled out by the time I was reading this one.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the minutes from December 5th as amended.
Second?
Second by Lynn, all in favor?
Aye.
And bringing things into the new year, I'll make a motion to accept the workshop meeting.
There's one more set of minutes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
July 24th, right?
Yes. Sorry.
So I'll make a motion to accept the Village Board of Trustees meeting, workshop meeting, July 24th, 2018.
I'll second that.
Discussion?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay. Page 2, discussion of teen center.
1 second.
Yeah.
Sticky fingers.
Any one of these.
Page 2, discussion
Of teen center, go to the 8th bullet.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
In a student survey, 90% of the respondents said that. You need a space between said and that.
Mm-hmm.
And then on page 3, under Junior Fire Academy graduation celebration, the graduation will be held on July 27th, 2018 at 5 p.m. The Mottons is missing. That's it. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the July 24th minutes as amended.
I will second that.
Thank you, Fran.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all. Anything from our reporters? Yes.
What day did the Church Street residents pick as an alternate?
I don't know offhand.
I seem to recall the 14th of September, maybe?
That's a
Does that
Friday.
sound
I
familiar?
think it was a Saturday.
That's a Friday. So it may
It was
be,
a Saturday, wasn't it?
I don't know which day they picked. If it's the 15th, it's the same day as ours.
It was the same day as the senior.
I don't know what day they picked, but if it is the 15th, it would be the same as ours.
Right, right.
So I don't know what day they picked. I would have to go back and see if I can find it.
Okay. How are the coyotes? I see coyotes.
Don't know how the coyotes are doing.
Oh, the coyotes, you mean, at Mayor's Park?
Yes.
They don't
Uh,
eat much.
Yeah, they don't. They don't cost anything to feed. Yeah, the Julia Butterfield teens installed their coyote decoys this past Saturday afternoon. Just kind of informal checking. The geese seem to be reduced. Folks who live across the street from there have noticed that they haven't seen any geese. I drove by this afternoon and saw maybe 3 or 4, but nothing like the dozens that we've seen previously.
Keeping our fingers crossed.
Yeah, they spin with the wind, they have flappy little tails.
They look more like donkeys to me.
They do kind of
Sorry,
look like
but
donkeys.
Like miniature donkeys.
But they're easy to pick up out of the ground and move around, and
We'll see.
we'll see what happens.
How many are there?
7.
Anything else from anyone?
Fran and I conducted the Justice Court audit. Fran put together a consolidated response. This is for 2 years, so 16-17 and 17-18, and it will be brought forward next week as a resolution for approval.
Oh, I'd also like to remark that Saturday we had the dedication of the plaque at the bandstand with the West Point Hellcats provided a musical introduction to the whole thing. It was really,
It was very nice.
it was a lovely
It really
ceremony,
was,
it
yes.
really was. And the plaque has turned out really beautiful, I thought, and is a nice addition to our historic bandstand.
The skies parted and.
Yes,
sun
they
came
did,
out.
the skies parted and the sun
There was
came
just
out.
enough room on the gazebo or not the gazebo, sorry, bandstand for everyone.
Gee, seriously.
I know, I never say that. I think it was corrected somewhere. Anyway, I think it was very nice.
It was.
It was.
It must be a nice day.
If you haven't seen it, go down and check out. They did a very nice job on the plaque, and Bugsy and Highway did a nice job mounting it. So, it looks good. Anything else?
Motion to adjourn?
I will second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Okay, now I can say it, are we winning now?
Quicker than I thought. Guess that's what, when you get someone like Michelle,